As I think you realize, and I've explained before, I'm a hostage of a secret army cult that is engaged in illegal activity. I'll give you an example. It's not legal to draft a disabled person, either in childhood or in senior citizenship. That they do it anyway testifies to their lack of honor. Veterans Administration. They invented the idea that my resistance to them is some sort of traitorous activity. By resistance, they mean writing poetry and going about my business. Rather strange form of heresy, don't you think? Well, they insist that I be kicked in the seat of my pants into politics. And there is something to be said for learning, influencing public opinion. I do not want what happened to Joe Biden to happen to me. Under no circumstances ever would I regard it as better to be supporting Israel or anyone else in a genocide. With me, that was already obvious. When I finally got back into school, I went to work on a refugee paper humanizing the Syrian and Muslim condition. I explored comity between the Sharia and the Western legal systems. Be that as it may, there's a lot more that informs my view that it would be better to be dead than to enlist with Biden, and I mean that. In World War II, many people were not given a choice. In America, supposedly, we're given a choice, but we have these secret army cults. Many people were not given a choice between death and dishonor. You could choose. You could be dishonorable and support Adolf Hitler and his movement to crucify the Jews, or you could be killed for your resistance. I empathized with the White Rose people, and so Donald made himself a knight of Hitler's Templar and symbolized me at a dead site with the White Rose. The man is crazy, but he's engaging in a power grab. Well, nobody knows how it's going to turn out. So he's saying to the private person who he has tortured and whom he dishonorably refutes is immune from a draft into an illegal and secret army cult. Prove your worth by being dead. It's such a dishonor and such a disgrace that there's no point in resisting it any other way than to describe what they've done. You would think it's so easy to convince people, it's a snap, that John Lennon died and Hitler Reagan was shot. And so the person who could have saved John Lennon and insults the memory of Reagan is a nuisance, a public offender, someone who has mental health problems, who shouldn't be allowed to go to school. And that's what they did for a long time. But really, when you look at the history of what they did, I think there's two considerations to the idea that they went ahead with the program, deceiving public awareness through media about what Lennon pulled and what Reagan pulled, the fake trick of his so-called assassination attempt, which was obvious from the fact that his attorneys had made there. And he's waving to me the night before. It's obvious it was a trick from what their brochure said, that there's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes. It was a brag from the master of Hollywood with a $1 trillion stagecraft plan. Now, you would think, on the level of morality, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, JFK, Eisenhower, Barry Goldwater, on the level of morality and conscience in the United States of America, you might almost think, nah, I don't want to say black intellectuals. They've been servile to Reagan through the whole thing and pretty bellicose towards me for no reason whatsoever. You would think, though, that a handful of intellectuals with the American heritage in mind, with the best of the brilliant, would consider the possibility that the reason why they put on this show was because they needed to trick people, because many people, like Dale Rogers and her community friends, her trust, would not have gone along with revenge for Adolf Hitler. They would not have gone along with Yoko Ono's idea of karma, releasing COVID, murdering Circe, and saying that these things are equity, executed by Mellon Bank as a trust for an arc of colors, if they were told what was going on point blank. But when you look at the way things have changed, you wonder if that's really true. It's a little bit like the question of whether or not the way Americans ingratiate themselves and make themselves love slaves to Israelis over their bleeding hearts about the Holocaust. Is that really the trauma that leads to tolerance of Gaza? I think the spell needs to be broken that that's a laugh. Because the only comparison between Gaza and the Holocaust of the Jews is in the genocidal victimization of a people. So, if that's not what caused it, maybe they didn't actually do it for moral argumentation reasons. Maybe they figured they could squash Dale Rogers under their thumb if they wanted to. Maybe they figured it would just be for fun. They were, after all, the Italian futurists around D'Annunzio who believed that death was nothing. D'Annunzio believed that you just get reborn. So he was a strange, sort of reckless man who became an aviating hero. For fun, they did it. And now they have taken the keys to the secret weapons. And there's nobody to stop them because Biden, whatever happened to him, I really do not want it to happen to me. And Trumpy Toon and Yoko Ono have argued Peter Gabriel's sadistic crimes of burning people alive should be visited on me, that I should be burned at the stake for my resistance to them. These people are psychotic, genuinely depraved individuals. They come up with someone like Aaron Bushnell, who burns himself in the name of Gaza with a smile on his face and say, "Be my guest, queer ball." And they set it up as two virgins pussy ball, as a form of execution of a child they consider a metaphor for abortion because my father was a radio room lieutenant on the CVL-3. Yoko Ono portrays me as evil because I didn't save John Lennon, but her real motive is a spirit from Yasukuni's shrine to avenge the Hiroshima bomb. I was a little boy from a ship that dropped a bomb called the Little Boy. It's absolutely psychotic. And the Supreme Court of the United States is evidently loyal to this fascism, even though there's nothing but evidence for this plan, for this plot, for this secret army cult in the United States of America. The FBI can't do an honest day's work. Not one of them can do an honest day's work. Not one. And they leave it to people like Aaron Dixon to get the job done for them based on the premise that Michael Reagan's mind is sound. And that Bibi Netanyahu is giving good advice to the chief executive. That Peter Gabriel understands his own lyrics, none of which is true. Peter Gabriel is a monkey typing Shakespeare. He doesn't understand a single word of what he says, nor does he care. These people are richos, and they're abusing us. And for some reason, the fact that they abuse me worst of all is a laugh to what? Chicks that pass me around? Just so you know.